wonderful and magical, and you guys have been dreaming on this land for a long time. I haven't. I immediately stopped because I started dreaming.
For nearly 2 decades, the Brown family has lived beneath the bright, unrelenting glare of reality television. What began as a bold experiment in faith and family unity has now become a study in heartbreak, silence, and the devastating cost of misplaced loyalty. Season 20 opens not with laughter or celebration, but with the quiet hum of hospital machines, the sterile chill of a waiting room, and the hollow echo of a truth no one wanted to face. Janelle Brown, the rock, the steady hand, the calm in a storm that never seemed to end, sits beneath fluorescent light, her face pale, her eyes searching the distance. The woman who once carried the weight of a plural marriage on her shoulders now carries something far heavier, the knowledge that her body is failing her. "It's cancer," she whispers through trembling breath, and for the first time in years, her strength falters. The camera lingers on her silence, not out of voyeurism, but reverence. This is not just a diagnosis. It's a reckoning. Around her, the world continues to spin, but within the Brown family, time stops. The woman who held the family together, who worked quietly while others crumbled in chaos, is now forced to confront her own mortality. There's no husband beside her. No comforting hand from the man she once believed in. Kody Brown, the self-proclaimed patriarch, is absent, both in body and spirit. And in that absence, a cruel truth takes shape: the man who preached unity has abandoned the very heart of his family. In confessional, Janelle's voice shakes, not with fear, but exhaustion. "I always thought if something like this ever happened, we'd rally," she says softly. "I thought he'd be here." Her eyes glisten with unshed tears, and the screen fades to black. Cut to Kody, alone in his car, face tense, jaw tight, his words rehearsed but hollow. "I love Janelle," he says into the camera, his voice strangely detached. But she made her choices. She's surrounded by people who support her. That's good for her. The words sting, robotic, cold, a man defending his pride rather than his wife. The distance between them is now an ocean, and Kody doesn't seem to notice he's already drowned. Christine, watching the episode in her Utah kitchen, breaks down. "That woman deserves a crown," she says through tears. "She deserves to be cherished. And instead, she got abandoned." The emotional weight spreads through every corner of the family. Meri watches from afar, her expression unreadable but her silence heavy. For years she'd hoped that leaving might bring peace, now she wonders if any of them ever truly escaped the pain Kody created. Robyn, meanwhile, is eerily quiet, no tears, no words, just a blank stare into the camera, like someone aware the tide has turned and there's no more sympathy left to buy. The producers, too, sense the shift. The tone of Sister Wives can no longer be controlled with clever editing or selective storytelling. The truth has outgrown the format. Janelle's illness is more than a storyline, it's a moral mirror, reflecting everything the audience already knew. The wives gave their lives to a dream that was never real. As Janelle sits in her quiet Flagstaff home, surrounded by her children, Logan, Madison, Hunter, Gabriel, Savannah, there's a moment of haunting beauty. Logan places a hand over hers, whispering, "You carried all of us, Mom. Let us carry you now." And for the first time in years, she lets herself be held. The cameras capture it all, not as spectacle, but as a raw, unfiltered portrait of what love looks like when the illusion finally falls away. And while the world watches, one truth becomes impossible to deny: the empire of Sister Wives is crumbling. Not because of fame, or scandal, or money, but because, somewhere along the way, the love that once bound them all was replaced by ego, control, and silence. Season 20 begins not with unity, but with loss. And as the screen fades to black once more, a single line appears in white letters across the screen: "Sometimes, it takes losing everything to finally see what was real." The morning after Janelle's confession, the entire Brown universe seems to shift, like the air itself has changed. TLC's producers arrive in Flagstaff, their eyes heavy, their voices soft. They know what this means. Janelle's cancer diagnosis isn't just a personal crisis, it's the unraveling of the last thread that's been holding the show together. What was once a story about faith and plural love has become a quiet tragedy of abandonment, ego, and regret. Christine calls Janelle that morning. Her voice is warm but trembling. "I'll be there in 5 hours," she promises. "Don't argue." And she means it. By nightfall, Christine arrives with food, flowers, and a fierce determination that feels almost maternal. The two women embrace in Janelle's living room, a space filled with blankets, candles, and the quiet hum of oxygen. They don't need words. They've both survived the same kind of loneliness, the kind that doesn't just break you, but remakes you into something unrecognizable. Meanwhile, Kody is pacing inside his house. His hair disheveled, his voice sharp. "Why didn't she call me first?" he spits, as if the answer isn't written in every moment of their shared history. Robyn tries to soothe him, her tone measured, cautious. "Maybe she needs space, Kody. Maybe she's just scared." But he isn't listening. "She's punishing me," he says, "for everything she's done wrong." His words twist the truth until even he seems to believe them. It's denial masquerading as anger, the only language he seems to know anymore. When producers ask if he plans to see Janelle, his response is chillingly detached. "If she wants me there, she'll call." But she doesn't. And deep down, he knows she won't. TLC cameras follow Christine as she drives to Flagstaff, the sun setting behind the desert mountains. Her confessional cuts through the silence. "You know what hurts?" she says softly. She stood by him through everything. Through Robyn, through the lies, through the humiliation. She stayed. And now, when she needs him the most, he's nowhere. That's not love. That's cowardice. Her words pierce the illusion that's kept Kody's world alive for so long. And somewhere, even the audience feels the shift. This isn't just another season. This is a reckoning 20 years in the making. At the same time, Meri sits alone in her B&B in Parowan. The fireplace flickers across her face as she scrolls through texts from the other wives, messages filled with support and worry for Janelle. But there's nothing from Kody. Not even a call. In her confessional, her voice breaks. "It's strange," she whispers. "Even now, part of me wanted him to show up. For her. For any of us. But I think that part of him died a long time ago." Robyn, however, is unraveling in silence. Behind the cameras, she's seen calling producers, pleading to adjust her storyline, to show her in a caring light. But the editors already know, the public doesn't buy her tears anymore. Viewers have seen too much, read too much, heard too much. The narrative can't be rewritten. Not this time. By the third day after Janelle's reveal, social media is on fire. Fans flood TLC's pages with outrage. "Where's Kody? Why isn't Robyn helping? Christine is the only real heart left in this family." The comment sections become confessionals of their own, millions of strangers grieving the family they once admired. For the first time, the network itself begins to panic. Executives meet in Los Angeles, quietly debating whether season 20 will be the last. The show that built TLC's identity is now threatening to destroy it. Back in Flagstaff, Janelle is surrounded by her children. Gabriel's eyes are red, his hands shaking. "He doesn't even care, Mom," he whispers. "He doesn't even ask how you are." She hushes him, but her silence says everything. This isn't about bitterness, it's about the quiet acceptance that some people will never change. Hunter sits beside her, his jaw set tight. "We'll handle this, Mom. We've got you." That night, Christine films a quiet kitchen confessional. The camera captures the exhaustion behind her smile. "I think what people don't understand," she says softly, "is that when one of us hurts, all of us feel it. Even Meri. Even me. And I just hope, wherever Kody is, that one day he understands what he's lost." The scene cuts to Kody sitting in his truck again, staring into the distance. His eyes are red, his expression unreadable. "They're painting me as a monster," he mutters. But I've sacrificed everything for this family. Everything. He grips the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles whiten, a man clinging to a version of himself that no longer exists. And as the camera zooms in, the irony is undeniable. Kody Brown is surrounded by empty seats. Once they were filled with wives, children, love, and chaos. Now, there's only silence. By the episode's end, TLC editors insert a haunting sequence, footage of Janelle laughing with her children, Christine's comforting hand on her shoulder, and Meri's quiet tears reflected in candlelight. No music, just the sound of the wind outside the house, cold, relentless, indifferent. And then, one final confessional. Janelle, her voice calm, steady, and full of grace, you can't make people love you the way you deserve. You can only love yourself enough to stop waiting. Fade to black. Text appears on screen. Next time on Sister Wives, Meri takes a chance at love again, Christine returns to Utah with a plan, and Kody faces the truth he's been running from. But behind those words, the audience can already feel it. This isn't just the next chapter. This is the beginning of the end. The episode opens with the sound of soft piano music, the kind TLC always uses when they're trying to tell viewers that something big has changed. But this time, the music isn't nostalgic or hopeful. It's hesitant. Tender. Like the first breath after a long cry. And when the camera fades in, it isn't Kody or Robyn we see. It's Meri. She's standing in a Salt Lake City hotel lobby, sunlight pouring through glass windows, her reflection caught in the mirror behind her. Dressed in emerald green, the same color she wore in early seasons when she still believed love could be repaired, she looks lighter. Her hair is styled, her makeup soft, her smile small but real. I told myself for years that I wasn't ready, she says in her confessional, her voice calm, almost matter-of-fact. That I needed to heal, to understand what went wrong. But now, I think I just want to feel something again. To feel seen. The producer behind the camera asks softly, "And are you ready for that?" Meri exhales, a little laugh escaping her lips. "I think it's about time." The screen cuts to a montage, Meri arriving at a speed dating event, the energy awkward but playful. There are strangers everywhere, laughter, glasses clinking. She sits across from a man named Kevin, who tells her about his small business and love for hiking. Another, James, mentions he's divorced but believes in second chances. The lightheartedness feels foreign in the Sister Wives world, and yet, it's healing. In her confessional, Meri smiles softly. "It's weird. I spent 30 years waiting for someone who never showed up. Now, all these men are actually looking at me. Listening to me. It's different." For the first time in years, Meri doesn't talk about Kody. Not once. And that silence says more than words ever could. Meanwhile, across state lines, Christine is in Utah, flower on her hands, laughter in her kitchen, surrounded by her daughters and her fiancé, David Woolley. The contrast is jarring. Where Meri's story is about rediscovery, Christine's is about peace. The energy in her home is bright, full of movement. "We're filming our family cooking show this week," she says excitedly to producers. No drama. Just joy. But later, as the crew packs up, she admits something softer. "It's hard watching Janelle go through this," she says. "Part of me wants to drive back to Flagstaff every weekend. But the truth is, that place feels haunted now. Every corner of it reminds me of what we survived." Her eyes glisten when she adds quietly, "I don't think any of us came out of that house the same. Not one." The scene cuts to a quiet evening at Janelle's home. The mood is heavy, reflective. She's sitting by her window, bundled in a blanket, her son Gabriel asleep on the couch beside her. The producers ask how she's feeling today. "Grateful," she whispers. "And tired. But mostly grateful." She looks away for a moment, and then, with a faint smile, adds, "Christine keeps calling me every morning. I tell her I'm okay, but she doesn't believe me. That's love. That's what love actually looks like." The episode intercuts her words with old footage, Janelle cooking dinner for 12, managing chaos while Kody storms off in frustration, her voice calm, her hands steady. The narration from the producers fills the silence. For years, Janelle was the quiet strength of the Brown family, the problem solver, the peacemaker, the steady one. But now, that strength is being tested in ways she never imagined. Back in Flagstaff, Kody's world is growing smaller by the day. His confessional takes place in the same office he once shared with Robyn, but the walls are bare now, the shelves empty. His hair is shorter, his eyes heavy. He stares into the camera, defensive and brittle. "They make me look like the villain," he mutters. "But nobody shows what I went through. Nobody shows the rejection. The betrayal." He leans back, his voice rising. "They all left. I didn't ask for this." But even as he speaks, the loneliness in his tone betrays him. The once charismatic patriarch is now just a man talking to his own reflection and losing the argument. Later, we see him sitting in the backyard of Robyn's house. The conversation between them is painfully stiff. "People think you don't care about Janelle," Robyn says quietly. "You should say something." Kody shrugs, eyes distant. "I don't want to make it about me." Robyn looks away, almost in disbelief. "But you already have," she murmurs. That line hangs in the air, and for the first time, Kody doesn't respond. Meanwhile, Meri's journey continues to unfold in small, poignant steps. After the event, she and her best friend Jen walk through the streets of Salt Lake, the city lights shimmering behind them. Jen teases her gently, "So? Any sparks?" Meri laughs. "Maybe not fireworks, but maybe a candle. That's enough for now." In her final confessional of the night, Meri reflects, her tone steady and wise. "I spent half my life waiting for Kody to choose me. Now, I'm choosing myself. And honestly, that feels like love too." The episode closes with a montage that feels almost symbolic, Meri smiling into the camera, Christine laughing with her kids, Janelle quietly holding Gabriel's hand, and Kody sitting alone, scrolling through old photos on his phone. The music swells, soft, haunting, bittersweet. And then, a voiceover, Christine's, layered over the final images. "We used to call it sister wives. But maybe, it was never really about being wives at all. Maybe it was about being sisters, and learning when to finally let go." Fade to black. The morning after episode 2 airs, the world wakes up buzzing. Twitter threads stretch for miles, Reddit explodes with fury, and TikTok becomes a reel of heartbreak, disbelief, and vindication. Viewers replay Janelle's trembling voice, Meri's quiet smile, and Christine's warmth over and over, while one phrase trends across every platform: "He's not a husband. He's a ghost." TLC's phone lines light up like a switchboard from the 1950s. The executives had expected ratings, but not this kind of firestorm. Viewers aren't just watching anymore, they're feeling it. And what they feel is betrayal. Clips of Kody's detached confessional flood social media, edited side by side with Janelle's soft resilience. "She's fighting for her life," one fan writes, "and he's fighting for his ego." A viral video plays Kody's own words, "If she wants me there, she'll call," over the sound of a heart monitor. Millions share it within hours. Suddenly, Sister Wives isn't just a show. It's a cultural reckoning. In Utah, Christine is bombarded with messages. "We love you. You saved yourself. You showed us what freedom looks like." But beneath the support lies a deeper ache. Christine knows what the cameras can't show, the trauma that never makes it into confessionals. During filming, she sits on her couch, clutching her tea, tears barely contained. "I didn't want this to happen to Janelle," she says softly. "I didn't want her pain to mirror mine." But Kody's pattern, it's like a storm. No matter how many times it hits, he never sees the wreckage he leaves behind. She pauses, shaking her head. "He used to say we were all his soulmates. But you can't have soulmates if you don't have a soul left to give." The camera cuts to black and white footage of the early days, young Kody laughing, all the wives gathered in the old Lehigh home. Laughter, children's voices, hope. And then back to now, Kody in an empty Flagstaff house, sitting in silence, scrolling through old photos of his family on an iPad, his face unreadable. The image says everything. Behind the scenes, TLC scrambles. Producers hold emergency meetings in Los Angeles. One executive, eyes rimmed with exhaustion, slams his notebook closed. "This isn't a show about plural marriage anymore," he says sharply. "It's about the fallout. The destruction. The survivors." Someone else adds, "We can't rebuild around Kody." The audience doesn't trust him. They don't believe Robyn's tears. The brand has shifted. It's Christine, it's Janelle, it's Meri. They're the story now. Emails fly, new contracts are discussed. There's talk of rebranding, breaking free, the real sister wives. A docu-series about healing, womanhood, and rebuilding from emotional ruins. For the first time, the network wants to tell the truth, unfiltered, unprotected. And while the network calculates, the Browns live the fallout in real time. In Flagstaff, Robyn paces through her house like a woman haunted. The blinds are closed, the air heavy. Her daughters ask why people online are so angry. Aurora, holding her phone, whispers, "Mom, they're saying you ruined everything." Robyn's lip trembles. "That's not true," she says, but her voice cracks mid-sentence. In her confessional, she sits stiffly, eyes swollen. "People think I manipulated everything. But I just wanted peace. I just wanted love." She sniffles, wipes a tear. "Now it feels like everyone's punishing me for having what they lost." But even through the tears, there's something off. The words sound rehearsed, the emotion almost too polished. Viewers see through it immediately. Within hours, #RobynTears trends, not out of sympathy, but mockery. Meri, however, becomes an unexpected hero. Her quiet dignity in episode 2 captures hearts. Clips of her laughing at the speed dating event flood TikTok, captioned with Meri finally choosing herself. For years, she was seen as the forgotten wife, the loyal one who waited too long. But now, she's something else, a symbol of survival. In her next confessional, filmed just a week after the episode aired, Meri looks directly into the camera, no makeup, no hesitation. "I used to think healing meant fixing what was broken," she says softly. "Now I know healing means walking away, even if your voice shakes." She smiles faintly. And mine did. The scene is powerful. Raw. Real. It becomes one of the most shared moments in the show's history, because for the first time, Sister Wives isn't about polygamy or jealousy or who sits next to Kody. It's about women reclaiming their lives from the wreckage of one man's pride. Meanwhile, Kody watches all of it unfold. The comments, the backlash, the mockery. He sits in his car again, the same truck he's been filmed in since season 17, his face pale, his voice low. "I don't recognize them anymore," he mutters. "I don't recognize any of this." He pauses, the silence stretching too long. Then he adds, "I gave my life to this family. I gave everything." But the camera doesn't cut away. It lingers on his face, not the confident patriarch, but a man staring into the mirror of his own undoing. And perhaps, for the first time, Kody Brown realizes that he hasn't been abandoned, he's been left behind. The episode closes with a haunting montage. Christine and Janelle walking hand in hand through a farmer's market. Meri watering plants outside her Utahin, smiling to herself. Robyn staring out a window, the curtains drawn tight. Kody, alone in his car, watching the sun set over Flagstaff. The music swells, low, melancholy, beautiful. And over the final images, Janelle's voice returns, steady and calm. "Sometimes, life takes everything from you, not to punish you, but to show you who you were meant to become." Fade to black. Then, in simple white letters, next time on Sister Wives, Robyn's secrets come to light, Christine confronts Kody one last time, and the Brown legacy finally fractures beyond repair. The episode opens in silence. No music. No introductions. Just the sound of rain hitting the pavement outside Robyn's Flagstaff home. The tone feels different, heavier, colder. The camera pans slowly across the living room, the once glamorous space now dim, cluttered, drained of its polish. Robyn sits on the couch, eyes red, clutching her phone like it's a lifeline. Her lips tremble as she whispers, "They found out." The screen cuts to black. Then, a headline flashes across social media feeds: Robyn Brown's secret TLC deal leaked, exclusive bonuses hidden from other wives. Within minutes, the Brown family empire collapses, not through betrayal from within, but through truth laid bare for the world to see. It started as whispers among production crew. Documents leaked online, emails, contracts, receipts. They revealed that Robyn and Kody had been quietly negotiating with TLC for years, securing higher bonuses and appearance fees while Janelle, Christine, and Meri received standard rates. The contract even included a clause, one that horrified fans and family alike, that promised narrative protection for the preferred couple. It meant what everyone suspected: Kody and Robyn weren't just the favorites, they were the story. The others were background characters in their own lives. Christine finds out through a text from one of her producers. "I knew it," she says through tears in her confessional. "I knew it. Every time I spoke my truth, they tried to make me look angry or ungrateful. They edited my pain into entertainment, while she collected checks for pretending to be the victim." Her voice breaks. "They sold my suffering." Janelle learns about it while sitting on her couch, wrapped in a blanket, watching the news segment play out live. Her phone buzzes. Logan, Madison, and Hunter are furious, their messages flooding her inbox. "Mom, this is disgusting. They used you. He let them do this." But Janelle doesn't respond right away. She stares at the television, her expression unreadable. "It all makes sense now," she finally says softly to the producers. "Why they were always protecting them. Why I was the one they blamed. Why they let Kody humiliate me on camera. It wasn't an accident, it was a plan." There's no anger in her voice, just a deep, hollow grief. The kind that comes when a truth too big to bear finally breaks the surface. TLC tries to contain the storm, but it's too late. The network issues a statement, short, rehearsed, insincere: "We are aware of recent allegations regarding contract discrepancies. TLC values all of our cast equally and continues to support the Brown family during this time." But the fans aren't buying it. Within hours, the hashtag Justice for the Wives trends worldwide. Comment sections explode with fury. Former crew members step forward anonymously, confirming what many already suspected: Robyn had manipulated producers, rewriting scenes, demanding control over editing, and refusing to film with the other wives unless she approved the emotional tone. Christine's next confessional cuts like glass. "I begged them for fairness," she says, her voice trembling. "I begged them to show how it really was, how he ignored his children, how she isolated him from us. But every time, they said, that's not the story we're telling this season. Now we know why." Meri's reaction is quieter, but no less devastating. Filmed in her Utahan, she sits by the fireplace, her hands wrapped around a mug. The flames reflect in her eyes. "I always wondered," she begins, her tone steady, "why they gave me hope one episode, and then tore it away the next. Why every time I smiled, they cut it short. Maybe they needed me to be the sad one. Maybe that's what sold." She looks directly into the camera, the first time she ever breaks the fourth wall. "But here's what I know now: you can't script truth. You can twist it, edit it, hide it for a while, but it always finds its way out." The screen lingers on her face as the fire crackles beside her. Then comes the confrontation. In what fans call the reunion scene from hell, Christine, Janelle, and Meri agree to meet Kody and Robyn one final time for an emergency group discussion, filmed in a neutral studio space. The producers describe it as a chance for clarity. But clarity, as it turns out, is brutal. The wives arrive together, a united front of quiet strength. Janelle looks fragile but determined. Christine is fiery, protective, her eyes blazing. Meri stands between them, calm, collected, but with a kind of stillness that feels almost dangerous, the silence before a storm. Kody walks in, shoulders tense, jaw tight. Robyn follows behind him, wearing heavy makeup to hide her tears, or maybe her fear. The air in the room feels electric. Every eye, every camera, every breath feels like it's waiting for an explosion. Christine starts. "Why didn't you tell us about the deal, Kody?" she says, voice low but sharp. "All those years, you let us think we were equals. You let us believe this was about family. But it was about control. It was about money." Kody's voice trembles, defensive. "That's not true. I didn't know about the clause." "Robyn handled those meetings, don't you dare," Christine interrupts, slamming her hand on the table. "Don't you dare throw her under the bus now. You let her do it. You wanted her to do it. Because it protected you." The camera pans to Janelle, who simply shakes her head. "I thought we were broke," she says softly. "You told me we couldn't afford Christmas gifts for the kids. And all that time, you had extra income?" Her voice cracks, and for the first time, Kody looks afraid. "Janelle, I know," she interrupts, her tone trembling. "You let me sell my house. You let me borrow money. You let our sons think they were the problem. You lied to us. All of us." Robyn begins to sob. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. I just wanted to protect our future." Meri's voice cuts through the chaos, quiet, even, almost haunting. "You mean your future," she says. "You've been protecting your future from the beginning. You made sure of it." There's silence. The kind that suffocates. Kody stares at Meri, his mouth opening, then closing again. For once, he has no words. Christine leans forward, tears in her eyes. "You know what the saddest part is, Kody? We all loved you. Every one of us. And you traded that love for power. For money. For her." She gestures toward Robyn, who buries her face in her hands. The camera lingers on Kody's face, pale, broken, trembling. He whispers, "I was trying to build something for all of us." Christine's reply is a dagger. "You built a throne out of our pain." The episode ends with a black screen. No music. No credits. Just Janelle's voice, trembling but strong. "I think we're done pretending. The family we thought we had doesn't exist anymore. But maybe now, we can finally start to heal." Fade to black. And then, the teaser, next time on Sister Wives, Kody faces public humiliation as his children speak out, Robyn's past resurfaces, and Meri makes a life-changing decision that shocks everyone. The screen fades in on the sprawling brown estate in Flagstaff, a house that once symbolized power, control, and carefully curated appearances. Now, the lawns are overgrown, the gates creak in the wind, and the silence is almost deafening. The camera slowly pans across empty rooms, untouched for months, capturing the ghost of a family empire built on lies. Kody Brown is sitting in his office, surrounded by stacks of unopened bills and past due notices. The reality he long avoided has finally caught up. His bank accounts are frozen. His investments have collapsed. The properties he prided himself on maintaining are under threat of foreclosure. Every number on the page is a dagger, and every letter from his creditors is a reminder of the life he thought he controlled slipping through his fingers. "I thought I had it all," he whispers, his voice trembling. "The money, the houses, the family. But I had nothing but illusions. And now even those are gone." His phone buzzes incessantly, messages from lawyers, media outlets, and former friends, all clamoring for a piece of the spectacle he once commanded. Each ping is a hammer striking his ego. Robyn Brown is next. Her carefully maintained image, the one she built over 2 decades of being the perfect wife and devoted mother, is crumbling in real time. Investigative journalists uncover hidden accounts, secret financial dealings, and contracts she had signed with the network without full disclosure to her children or Kody. Aurora, empowered by the public airing of family truths, leaks photos and documents online, irrefutable evidence of Robyn's secret TLC deals and attempts to profit at the expense of her siblings. Social media explodes. Former fans who once cheered her now call her deceitful, manipulative,